It is now official. I have survived over 100 days in this Minecraft 1.21 survival world. I took on the challenge that every Minecraft world has, and that is wood. We all know how to follow tutorials and build auto tree farms, but to me that takes away the fun of manually harvesting the wood you need for projects. In today's episode, I decided to build up a huge lumberyard not only for good looks, but to serve a purpose in storage for all the wood related items, but to also have some custom terrain to have a plantation of all of the trees that are in Minecraft 1.21. For the last 50 days that I've survived in this world, I have used this area quite right behind my house as a rudimentary tree farm. However, it's starting to get overwhelming. And a wandering trader came by the other day and I was able to trade some emeralds for some propagules, so we got quite a bit of mangrove wood coming in here. The plan for today is I've been gathering up quite a bit of wood because what I want to do is expand this area over this way. I'm thinking that over here is a good area for a lumberyard. To expand it, have a beautiful building, have storage set up for all of the wood needs that we have, and also kind of organizing more so how our rudimentary tree farm is going. So that way, if I need wood, I can just go down the lines and get the wood that I need. First things first, I need to do some deforestation over here, plus I'm going to need a lot of that oak and a lot of that birch that's sitting right over here, and also going to have to do some landscaping because this building we're going to build is going to be pretty massive. But there's also a bunch of other projects that we're going to be doing today as well. I'm not going to be totally focused on this. I'm going to be picking at it over time throughout today, and also got to do some adventuring to get different blocks for decorations in that sense. Let's get sleeves rolled up and let's get to doing the grunt work and getting this land prepared for today's main project of the lumber. Alright, now that I've cut back the trees of this area, I now know what I'm exactly looking at. I did notice that we got a beehive over there, and there's also one right there, and there's quite a bit of sheep. I need to go adventuring to find a jungle biome, because I'm going to need some bamboo, and also some jungle wood, and also, why not explore a little bit, see what this world has to offer. Because so far we've only really seen spruce, oak, and birchwood. I want to see some different terrain. So I need to head on to a little exploration adventure to come across the jungle, which hopefully I do. I set off on my adventure with my trusty oak boat. I was excited to come across the sunflower field, so I made sure to gather a few flowers to bring back home. I was fortunate enough to come across a cha-cha wood. Yes, a cha-cha wood, not acacia. I thought this jungle biome was really small, but it wasn't. It led me to a mangrove swamp, which I was really surprised to see, so I made sure to gather about roughly 2 stacks of mud. Then I found this beautiful village, which I did make sure to leave no stone unturned. So many goodies, so much loot in this village. I didn't realize that this jungle actually went across the river, and I happened to find some bamboo, so made sure to gather that for a future farm. Wink wink, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, who knows. This ruined nether portal I found didn't have any good loot, so I made sure to take the obsidian and crying obsidian, because I do have plans for these blocks. After spending many hours adventuring, I decided it was time to head home and get today's plan put into action. Well, that was a lot of fun going around and adventuring and seeing all kinds of new things and see what is inside this Minecraft world, and obviously it's not entirely just a taiga biome. So I happened to gather up quite a bit of good stuff. 2 stacks of hay bales, so we're pretty good with hay. We got quite a few workstations, some crying obsidian, mud. Did get a cha-cha. We did get some melons because I wanted to make some pumpkin and melon farms, sunflowers. Very excited for those. Now I need to figure out what the next step is. I know I'm going to need a lot of deep slate, so I figured to kind of like 2 birds, 1 stone situation is I can kind of start working more further on of expanding down into the mine shaft and making the walls actually look pretty and everything. Why don't we actually clear out some of those walls in there because I'm going to need deep slate for the lumberyard build. We'll let nighttime cycle and make sure the iron farm doesn't get broken. So let's head out into the mines and actually start expanding the walls and getting things prepared to continue to beautify the mine shaft. So after all of that digging and everything, I've kind of realized that, yeah, my stone storage is really not working out anymore. So it's time to expand on that. And the way to do that is what my plans are for the mine shaft. So before we can actually start working on the lumberyard over there, I think let's take some time and actually plan out some storage area for our mine shaft. So like what I wanted to do with this area is leave this section open to make it look like a mine shaft. An abandoned mine shaft, that is. And then back over here is where all the storage is going to be. So I need to get to digging and leveling this out and figuring out some cool design to actually mock up some storage and make it actually look pretty and decent. Because down here is going to be the storage for all of our stone and dirt related materials. Because this is going to turn into the quarry of the world, basically. I mean, why not? Giant cave, mine shaft, minecart. Might as well make it our own little storage and quarry. So I got this area dug out. We come down the staircase and then we bang a right. This is where the storage is going to be. Like 50 something chests. And it's going to be like 3 or 4 tall. And now the idea is to come up with some sort of cool design. And I'm thinking this wall right here is going to be more of a decoration kind of a thing. Like some cool shelves, armor stands, stuff like that. I did break a diamond pick, so I had to replace it. And before I went on my adventure, I did make diamond tools, so that way I was ready to go and to collect things. So now I need to get on the grind of gathering up a bunch of wood and coming up with a design in here. And I'm thinking I'm going to use some of that new mud in this build design. So let me get some materials. Let me get a bunch of chests made up. And I'll meet you guys back here for the building process. So this is what I had in mind for the floor. And then what I'm thinking is if we did spruce pillars going all the way up in all the corners. Now need to figure out what we're going to put into the ceiling. I'm thinking I'm going to do some like deep slate bricks with some of the deep slate tiles as well. So it's time to rip the ceiling out and get it replaced. I did decide after a little bit of a while that what I was going to do is actually take the spruce logs and run them along the entire top. Right above where the chests are going to go, and I'm going to inset the chests by one. Next, what I did was figure out actually how I was going to place the lanterns in the ceiling so that way we had light coming down from above us. Once the ceiling was all put in, I then ran around with the lanterns to actually put them in their designated spots, so that way monsters won't spawn down here and scare the living crap out of us. Now it's time for me to rip up all of this cobble and figure out exactly where I'm putting these chests and what the surrounding blocks are going to be. I decided that I'm going to use dark oak slabs as the flooring support for the chests and to add a little bit of a brim all the way around the outside. Then I figured that I would just take some oak wood and I would do it to wrap around the walls of the sides and the back walls of where the chests will be placed. And to make it so that way I can actually access the top row of the chests, I'm going to use upside down oak slabs to carry it along. And now the fun part of actually running down each of these little sections to place in these chests, which does get fun after a while because you're going to hold down on the left shift so that way you can actually make your double chests. Now I know what you might be thinking, this might be a bit overkill, but in reality it's not. This is going to be a long-lasting world, and I'm going to need a lot of storage for stone-related materials, dirt, gravel, all that good stuff. So now that I got the design kind of figured out of what I'm going to do, and to make sure that I can actually access the top chest, it is time to mimic this to this side and to this side. So I'll bring you guys back as soon as I get those two sides done. Woo! Well, I did spend a little bit of time actually getting blocks organized, and how I'm going to organize my system is that the blocks in front of the chest is going to associate with what is in these chests. So when I first get silk touch and everything and I start getting regular deep slate, this section right here is going to be dedicated to deep slate. So we got our diorite, granite, andesite, we got our tuff, we got dirt, and then again silk touch will get grass. Over here we got the cobblestone, the stone, which I did trade with a stonemason to get a couple of emeralds and to lock him into a trade somewhere in this village. I don't know where he went, but this area will be designated to stone, and then we'll have our gravel. I tried to keep in mind with how much of these items that we're going to collect over time and how big of a storage size it's going to need, which again, thinking that, 4 tall, 5, 6 wide of something is probably going to be enough for the time being. I'm trying to future-proof everything, so I'm hoping that by doing this, it'll work it out. And what I want to do over in this area is do a little bit more of decorations of like hanging up some tools or something with item frames or doing some cool stuff in that sense. And maybe even throw in a couple of armor stands in here into this closet. And this door is not facing the right way. There we go. Now it opens up like a double door closet. And then threw in a stone cutter in case I need to do some stone cutting crafting, which also I didn't think to do storage for like the variants of everything. So this is all the raw variants of all of this stuff. So we just have deep slate, just gravel, just stone, just cobblestone, etc, etc. I'm thinking that I'm going to keep the storage of all of the variants actually up here in the house. So like what was the stone chest, I think I'm going to like take all of these variants that have been kind of sticking over into these barrels here, going to be in the stone storage in the starter house. But what I need to do is actually get some better tools, because I've gone through a couple of pickaxes already and my shovel's looking pretty weak, and I got a lot of terraforming to do over in that section for where the lumberyard's going to be going. Plus I did use up quite a bit of wood, so I need to spend some time gathering up some more wood so that way I actually have all the resources that I need to build the lumberyard and to make the area look beautiful and transport all of these trees from this little knoll off over there and figure out exactly where the rudimentary tree farm is now going to be placed and held. Also been harvesting and gathering up bamboo like nonstop, so that way I actually have the bamboo and can eventually just get rid of this completely and build a farm for it. But that's all for the future. In due time, everybody. In due time. I figured the location right next to the enchantment tower is the best location for the toolsmiths. I needed to remove this old villager house first to begin the foundation for the new building. By having these toolsmiths here, it will help me down the road of not needing to mine diamonds to get myself some tools. I do enjoy that these tools do come with some enchantments, but still a lot of work to create the best tools from these guys. I will need to set up a building for the librarians, so that way I can be more efficient when it comes to getting the best enchantments for my tools. These toolsmiths need some sort of forge to craft these tools for me, right? That is why after building this back wall I decided it was a good spot to put in a forge. Now, I know it isn't the prettiest building, but in time with some outside decoration, it will really take some shape. Once I do get my hands on some name tags, I will be naming these guys, and that is where you come in to help me with names. Put it down there in the comment section. Also, if you're enjoying this content, make sure to like the video. It does help the channel and show me that you guys want to see more of this content. And if you're new, consider subscribing, because these villagers are lonely and they're getting tired of just having one-on-one conversations with me, and they need more friends. Ah yes, our toolsmith hut is now complete. I still need to do some polishing up with some decorations and everything, but we did get our hands on a couple of tools. We do have a Silk Touch Efficiency 4 Unbreaking 3 Diamond Axe, Efficiency 3 Unbreaking 2 Shovel. That's as far as we've gotten. But I have spent the time, and I have gotten all of these toolsmiths up to master level, so there's nothing to worry about. I just need to have spend more time trading iron for the emeralds, and the enchantment trades are poor, so it's taking me time to actually gather up the levels that I need to combine some tools. I have 2 other diamond shovels that I need to combine to add on to this shovel to make it a beautiful shovel, and I also have an efficiency for Fortune 2 Unbreaking 2 and a second Fortune 2 pickaxe set I need to combine. The issue is I need like over 20 levels of experience, so that's going to take some time. But now that I actually do have a decent shovel, it is actually time to start doing some of the terraforming that I need to do over there to build the lumberyard, so that way we can get all of our gross trees off of the knoll up here. So when we look out this window, we're not just seeing a bunch of random trees, we'll see something very beautiful sitting here at some point in due time. Now, I know this episode's been full of time lapses and me commentating over the time lapses, so maybe this time we'll do like a little cool montage with different camera angles, with some upbeat music or something. I don't know, maybe the music's playing already, and it's rolling right into the time lapse. Well, that took quite a bit of time. I want to say about roughly 2-ish hours to flatten this all out, and then I started to do just some sloping and landscaping around the edges here. And I decided that I was going to dig out this section right here, because this section right here is where the lumber mill is going to go. I'm sure you like hearing my voice, or maybe you don't like hearing my voice, but I need to get this lumber mill done. I'm on a time crunch. I only got a few hours left of the day that I can actually get things done. I did spend some time overnight actually gathering up all of the resources that I am going to need to build this thing. So let's get crack-a-lackin' and get this lumber mill built, and then we can actually start cleaning up our village over here. Because it's becoming a mess, and I don't like it. We need to be organized. We need to be efficient. Well, now that the actual infrastructure of the lumber mill is now built, I still need to do some work to it. I need to actually put in the interior decoration, figure out the whole storage system, texture up these walls because this stone is just gross. The block that I'm missing that I want to do for the floor requires me to go into the Nether. So I think it's time to finally, roll up these sleeves and head into the scary biome. Okay, this actually might have been one of the better spawns that I've ever had coming into the Nether. And there's the blocks that I need to do the flooring in the lumber mill. While in the Nether, I made sure to gather up some quartz because I'm going to need some observers for some future farms. Specifically, like to make an automatic bamboo farm that we don't have to worry about manually harvesting bamboo anymore, and plus we can hide it underneath the lumberyard. I also made sure to grab a few stacks of this basalt because I planned on using this as the flooring material for the lumberyard, and also it's a pretty block. Until I realized that I wasn't paying attention and broke my diamond pick. So I figured that was a good time to leave the Nether and get back to where it's nice and safe, because I don't really have the tools, gear, or equipment to really be in here. So what I need to do is I need to rip this entire floor up, and then I can start placing in the basalt blocks that I want to use as the flooring block. But I do need to also keep in mind of where I want to actually stick a little entrance to go downstairs, because I want to hide an automatic bamboo farm down below. So what I'm thinking is actually, instead of doing a ladder, I can do a staircase that comes down. Going straight back, this is where one of the bamboo cells is going to be, because I only have enough materials just to make, one little cell of 8 on each side. So I need to carve out this little room right here, and then I'll bring you guys right back. We now have an automatic bamboo farm set up. Yeah, it's not the most efficient. However, when some of the pistons go off on this side, it'll trigger a line of dust going across and connecting both sides together. So more than likely both sides will trigger off, except for the fact that, redstone dust can only go so far in length. But just to get things going and rocking and rolling, I got it to kind of work. And as you can see, just so far having it set up and just watching it to make sure it works, got a little bit over a stack of bamboo already. What I need to do for the rest of the time being is I actually do need to get all the trees put over here. I need to decorate this building just a little bit more, texturing, detailing the walls itself, figuring out the storage on the inside of that, and potentially putting in a few custom trees. But these are all things that I can do off camera because all of this is boring and you guys don't really want to see that, do you? We've already done so much in this episode. So I just want to do a huge thank you to all of you for the support and the love that you guys have been showing in these last few episodes. It really does warm my heart. And consider sharing with your friends, family, pets, trees, anybody. Everybody loves Minecraft stuff. But anyways, guys, have yourselves a good day.